Hey, everybody. Welcome to the TikvahMinds Show. Welcome to a good Monday morning. Let's see here. What do we got going on here? Make sure I have everything going. It's a one-man show. Producer, everything. Artist, Renaissance. We got it all here. Okay. Welcome to the show. Good Monday morning. Want to invite you to, actually, I'll just show it and I'll pop it up here. But I want to invite you to the our website. Today, I have, where is it? There we go. Today, I have, so yeah, you can see our lovely website here. And today I posted a little bit more content, references and those types of things, links, kind of things I wanted to talk about today, down here. So in our blog post, this being episode 128, and I also wanted to, we'll see, hopefully I'll get to, this week should be wrapping up all the edits. And one of the things that happens when you're going through a printing process is that there's you want I think of George Lucas, and George Lucas tend to spend a lot of time editing, and even edited the original movies. What was it? When those come out again? 20 years later, 25 years later, just continually editing them. And so the editing process never ends. There's no doubt about that. So, but in any case, we want this to be as good as it possibly can be for you guys. That's what we want. That's what we want to be able to show and share with you guys. So there's that. And so one of the things is there's no doubt that edits happen. And so that's kind of where we're at. We should be finishing those up, and then in that final stage to ultimately the final edit, which is what ultimately gets shipped to you guys. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And I've been spending quite a bit of time doing those types of things. And, when you go through that, there's like your color changes, and you go through your, you're trying to not only show mood, but you're also showing a time frame as far as, okay, this happens more at noon, this happens more, these types of things. And you want to be able to show that. But then on top of it, when you put in, this is part of that editing process, just letting you guys know that when you put in the text, sometimes when you write that script and you're adding back in the script into and even though it's in there, you're adding that into be it the placement, and you have these ideas already in place as far as your overall plan. But kind of my process is I'll add those final edits in from the script, and then sometimes things kind of change. They just need to adjust a little bit to match the attitude that you're presenting and the story that you're ultimately trying to tell. And there's this balance, like Scott McCloud gets into these types of things where the balance between what you're depicting from the words that you're using and then what you're visually depicting. And there's different ways that you can either align those, or you can talk about something else entirely, but show something else also entirely. And those, again, are just tools as far as how you can. So that's kind of where we are right now. And hopefully we'll just kind of see today is I probably, what I need to do is I really need to think about moving to this show to a 9 a.m. time. So I think what we'll do is next Monday, we're just making this decision live right now, is that next Monday we'll move this show to 9 a.m. I do a little bit of research and those types of things prior, which is kind of all the links that ended up down here in the blog page. our patron page would be a much better way of saying it. Just kind of sharing our vision and those types of things. In any case, that putting that content there for you guys to be able to look at and reference and go, okay, this is what he's referring to, even though I do have it up here in our top bar. And I forgot where I was going. I lost my brain thought. No, total brain fart. Here we are Monday, right? Oh, so I needed to move that to 10. I need to move that to 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time or Standard Time, whatever time of the year it is. And one of the reasons being is that it tends up being that my wife also, she has a meeting and we share kind of an open office space. And so she has a meeting at 10. And so in any case, we need to wrap this one up. And so that's kind of where we're at with that. So that's kind of the reason why we need to move that. The other thing is that let's see here. We got all this going. Very good. Okay. So the other reason is that, sorry guys. These things happen, you know. There we go. Okay. The other thing that happens or tends to happen is that, well, when I was going through the research today, and there's a lot of fun topics. I wrote in the description and some of the stuff. Oh, I need to post up that as well. So I need to post this in the description. I don't necessarily have time, but I have we live in crazy times. crazy times. And certainly through this high stress time, there's certainly, and I think I've said this, and I'll keep doing my best to say it. And I think more than anything, it's certainly to share with you guys, but and also it's for myself as well. That the importance of gratitude, and that in these high stress times and crazy things happening, that you just we certainly make mistakes. We certainly because we're, you know, our string is tied so incredibly thin that, or we get worn and things happen. So in any case, we do our best to move on and encourage the growth of others and gratitude on a daily basis. I think that's the message of the day. So to kick us off, one of the things just so we have our, why was Robert Patterson chosen? Whatever. You know what? To the best, right? To the best. I hope the best for him. I don't even necessarily have a comment per se, other than I skipped. So I remember, you know, I watched the Adam West Batman. That's what I grew up on, or the reruns of that. And that, I guess they were when they developed in the 70s, and I, being a late 70 baby, I watched those reruns of, you know, the whole Joker and the Penguin and Catwoman. They're all teaming up and fighting Batman, and Robin always cracking his knuckles. See if I can do it on there. Yes. Robin always cracking his knuckles on the show. That was always real cool. And when they came out with who is it? Michael Keaton. I get that right. Michael Keaton, and of course Batman, and then Batman Returns. It's just like, oh, that was the greatest thing. Saw both of those in the theater. Absolutely loved it. And then they came out with the next one, and I don't remember the next one that came after that. All I know is that it wasn't Michael Keaton. I remember thinking this as a kid. It wasn't Michael Keaton, and I was just like, ugh. And then it just wasn't. I skipped a whole bunch of them. I don't know how many is there. One with Nicole Kidman, one with I don't know, George Clooney. Who else has been in there? Val Kilmer. I mean, it's just like it just became I skipped a whole entire. What do you got? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee. I do like Tommy Lee. Yeah, just all these crazies. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. I skipped that one entirely. Anyway, so they so so when Batman Begins finally came out, I actually skipped that one altogether. I didn't see that one in the theaters because it's just like I'm over the Batman scene. It become over the top. It was ridiculous. It wasn't, and I like the character. There's always the debate in our household of like who's better, like Batman or Superman. And currently, I'm agreeing with my wife. Superman is better. However, I do have a soft spot for Batman, and yeah, so I skipped Batman Begins, and that turned out to be an awesome flick. And then of course the other two, which weren't near as good, and of course Dark Knight I think gets kind of promoted as one of the better ones, but that was like the Batman Begins was just like, oh, what a breath of fresh air of like what this could be. And you know, I don't want my like I don't know. I'm skeptical. I think it, you know, who plays the penguin in this movie? I can't think of his name, but I just he's going to be far more interesting than Robert Patterson. Whatever, he's a it's just he's not a Bruce Wayne to me, so whatever. But hey, I could be wrong, and like I said, it could be sort of a thing where Batman Begins comes out, and then you go, oh my gosh, that's great. Here's another. This one's a hot topic. We'll just go after Gina Carano and her hot topic. No, I appreciate what she's saying. I absolutely agree with her. These lockdowns aren't working, and government lockdowns aren't working. People can decide on their own what they want to do, medically and otherwise. And I think that medical tyranny is happening big time. And so you might check out this article. I think she's absolutely spot on. I absolutely agree with her in that it doesn't work. It's going to do when the first world shuts down, the third world dies. That's what happens, and that's what I think. That's kind of the sad topic here. And of course, Spain rules that's unconstitutional. And of course, the other side of it is just by saying these things. It's just by saying these things. There's a new, I don't know if it's passed or not, but I read through the bill. I'll have to post it I'll have to post it back over here in the list of references. But the new bill taking away, I think, the Section 230 clause that big tech is kind of fitting under. Which is like, oh, okay. So then they're losing that publisher sort of a thing. If I'm saying this correctly, I need to read through it again because, but they had in there sort of a thing where like 12 on a study, like what study? Usually when you write a law, you have or a bill, you have like a reference in terms of, oh, it's referencing this law or this code or this idea, this stock, whatever. It's not one study. What one study? That really all this disinformation goes down to 12 people. But are we talking about the 12 disciples? 12 individuals? Who are these 12 tribes of Israel? Who are these people? 12 sons of Jacob, which is really 13, but read the Torah. Where are we going with this? What the heck is going on here? This makes no sense. 12 individuals. You might check out that bill, but it basically gives them the ability to determine, but it gets rid of the Section 230, which is, as a publisher, you can get rid of content and destroy the algorithm. And then they go on to say, well, even though we're getting rid of that, you can still go after disinformation, all that sort of stuff. Well, in a world of mass communication, not only mass communication, but mass information is all over the place. It's just like, come on, what is happening? But I digress. And which in my, because people, it's kind of the bad side. The bad side is certainly rumors can lead to, or gossip can lead to, easily, very easily, incredibly easy, and something which is anytime we get into these topics, it can lead to these areas, and so we certainly want to be careful with that. But we as creatures of habit, we tend to like gossip. We tend to gravitate towards it. And there's certainly, you could argue that bounding in comics, you're referencing only bounding into comics. There's a lot of rumors and the gossip and all those sort of things. And absolutely correct. I couldn't agree with you more. But I did, and of course, the Lord of the Rings and the new hot topic with Lord of the Rings is that they are bringing in, and there's going to be nude scenes in this thing, and people are very nervous about it. And Bounty and Comets kind of breaks down into like code words as far as like the name of a particular project, because projects will have different names so that they hide under it and don't announce that it's actually Lord of the Rings. This Lord of the Rings series that Amazon's producing, and it ends up being Jazz is the name for it. Anyway. And I thought this quote was interesting. Nudity is sparse and not sexualized, contrary to earlier kind of concerns, but rather this artistic choice. Oh, that's interesting. Like pornography's artistic choice. I don't know, whatever. Choice represents a very dark thematic material suggestive of concentration camp type visuals of victims. Halloween portrayal of the corruption of the elves by dark powers and to ultimately become orcs. Now, one of the things is like, it's interesting, of course, Tolkien never really goes into, as far as I understand, and I'm not a Tolkien scholar, but as far as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, that Tolkien really never goes into how orcs are made other than suggestions and possibilities. And it just, and especially when you have Bezos in the past has said, I want Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. Everyone thinks of like gratuitous nudity and sexualization and all this sort of stuff. So everyone kind of gets nervous when you have this sort of stuff. And yeah, okay, I could. But at the flip side of it is that, Tolkien has in his life made absolute steps towards announcing the fact that this was a children's book, and has made steps to avert any idea of sexualization. Yeah, there's a husband and wife, or people come together, but it's never discussed in a sort of that's bedroom talk sort of a thing. It's not discussed, and so it's just like, oh man. But I think in the big scope of things, which gets into this whole Hasbro, and I think I talked about it last time, this whole Hasbro thing, and then also Project, this is going to get me banned, Project Veritas, or just mentioning the name, is sort of a thing where this it's meant to divide us. And I think that's where a lot of this is going, where it's really meant to divide us and get us gnawing at each other. And I think that's just sort of a thing where we just make a deliberate choice. And I do have this spicy video for you. It's also in the description down here at the very bottom. Check it out. But this idea that we have to, we're being told to stop living our lives. You don't have value. You're not, what's the word? Essential. These types of things. And so, but you are essential. You certainly are essential. And I just, this whole nudity thing of Lord of the Rings just reeks of division, destroying things that were from the previous 80 years, the previous last 80 years of struggle, and here we're entering that new, because again, I've talked about this, like the fourth turning sort of a thing. Every 80 years we kind of end up in these crazy struggles, and roughly, give or take, and this sort of it's just this sort of thing where we just don't, it's easy. And of course I've probably been talking about it, over these last couple 30 minutes of getting caught in the weeds, and how easy it is to get caught in the weeds. And this is just a smattering of an example that ultimately we do need to live our lives, otherwise we'll lose it. Was it in Shawshank Redemption, get busy dying, or get busy living, or get busy dying? And that's 100% correct. Again, regardless of all the mistakes that we've made, and that we continue to make and continue to struggle through. And I guess, it's hard. It is very, very difficult. It's not easy by any stretch of it, but it's something that we struggle through, and we do our 100% best to each and every day to give it our all, and improve, and those types of things. And with this particular page, try not to show too much, but with this particular page, it's just sort of a thing where we want, mistakes happen, or the perspectives change, or those types of things. And we have to be open to listening, and open to evaluating, and open to the possibility of changing our minds, and that new information and understanding comes across our desk, so to speak, every day. And we have to, I really do want to preach the idea that it's important to that's the oxygen in the room, right? And I think in the piece I had, like, oxygen is bad, and it's become that, where this, this idea of discourse, where it's become where oxygen is bad. I mean, for crying out loud, if you're going to the Olympics, everyone's doing their hyper chambers, or this high evolution tents, or all this sort of stuff to improve their ability. Elevation. Can't talk. I'm so excited. All these sort of technologies that aren't considered doping, which is just putting more oxygen in your bloodstream. Okay. But there's other technologies or techniques that you could do that aren't doping, and we don't want to promote the idea of that. But if that's cheating, the doping's cheating, wouldn't be taking your mask off. I think it was Clouder said this. Wouldn't be taking your mask off be considered cheating? Because you're bringing in more oxygen, and it does. And it's probably being taken off the YouTubes, but I'm sure it's out there. Go to some other platform that shows it, where there has to be some other platform that will show you that it generally, and this is based upon my actual certified experience, I'm certified in hazmat and all this sort of stuff, that your oxygen, just having a mask on, you have your oxygen level drop. I think it's 17 to 15%. Depends on who you are and the type of mask that you use. But on average, you're dropping much amount of oxygen you're bringing into your body, which is, oxygenation is the number one thing that fights viruses. We live in a crazy world. I don't have a whole lot of time to do this work and show you this work today, but I just want to say the importance in this last sort of minute and a half, the importance that we open our ears, and that we listen to each other, regardless of the mistakes that we make, that we keep those doors open, and we find ways to open those doors. And even if doors end up closing, there's always opportunities and possibilities that other doors end up opening. And that's exciting, regardless of how hard or difficult. And that's exciting. That's uplifting. That adds to that potential, and that we live in a world where we're being divided in every which way possible, and we've got to find a way to unite. We have to. We have to. We have to. We have to. Which gets back to the get busy living or get busy dying. Hopefully you like this content. Hope you appreciate, and thank you for hanging around. Go check out ElijahLoving.com. Go to the blog part of the page, add in your comments, add in your ideas, your opinions. Check out those links. You guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your time today, and thumbs up and all those sort of things. And we love you guys. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.